Good morning, afternoon, everyone. I want to start today with a story. A story about a young man who dreamed of becoming an artist. He painted every day. He sacrificed time, money, even sleep. He showed his work to galleries, to critics, to mentors. And each time, he was rejected. He felt his dream slipping away. He asked himself, am I really cut out for this? Should I just give up? That young man could have quit. Many people would have. But instead, he decided to try again. Each rejection became a lesson, each failure a stepping stone, and eventually he became one of the most celebrated artists of his generation. I start with this story because it illustrates a truth we all face. Failure is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. But giving up is optional. How many of us have faced moments like this? Moments when we've been knocked down, our confidence shattered, and our hearts heavy with doubt? Failure is universal. Every human being has faced it in some form. Academic failure, career setbacks, relationships that didn't work out, dreams deferred. And yet, despite its inevitability, failure carries a secret. It is one of the most powerful teachers we will ever have. Today, we are going to explore the journey of getting back up after a painful failure. We will examine what failure teaches us, how it shapes our emotions, how we can cultivate courage, and finally, how we can turn failure into a comeback story. By the end of this talk, my hope is that you will leave not just inspired, but empowered to see your failures in a new light, not as endings, but as beginnings. And so let's begin our journey. I want to start today with a question. How many of you have ever failed at something? Let audience react. I mean, truly failed. Not a small stumble, not a mild mistake, but a failure so deep that it left you questioning your ability, your purpose, even your worth. If you are honest, every hand in this room would rise. Because failure is universal. It's part of being human. And yet, the way we respond to it defines who we truly are. Failure hurts. It cuts deep, it whispers doubts into our ears and clouds our vision of the future. It can make us feel small, invisible, and powerless. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. It's a crossroads. A moment in time when you can either let defeat define you or use it as the fuel to rise stronger than ever before. Today, I want to talk about the art and courage of getting back up after a painful failure. Not just surviving it, but transforming it into something meaningful, powerful, and liberating. Understanding failure. Let's begin by understanding failure. Many people fear failure because they see it as a reflection of who they are. But failure is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of your effort, your risk-taking, your willingness to step into the unknown. Consider Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he didn't see them as setbacks. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And here's an anecdote. Edison once tried to invent a new type of storage battery. It exploded in his lab, filling the room with smoke and panic. Most people would have quit after one such disaster. But Edison laughed, saying, "Why stop now? We are learning." Failure is feedback. It's a message from the world telling us that something isn't working, and it's inviting us to learn, adapt, and grow. Painful failure, especially, carries a lesson wrapped in struggle. And while it is uncomfortable, it is also a gift, a rare opportunity to discover your inner strength and resilience. As Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." But understanding failure intellectually isn't enough. Feeling the pain of failure is essential. Denying it, ignoring it, or pretending it didn't happen only prolongs the healing. Sit with it, acknowledge it, and let it teach you. 9:14 Part 2. The Emotional Journey of Failure. Failure is not only practical, it's deeply emotional. It shakes us at our core. You may feel anger, shame, disappointment, or even despair. And that is normal. In fact, it is necessary. Think of a time you failed. Maybe it was a career setback, a lost relationship, or a personal goal you didn't reach. Remember how it felt. That ache in your chest, the sleepless nights, the endless what-ifs. Emotions, though painful, are signals. They are the heart's way of saying, this matters to you. This experience is shaping you. Ignoring them is like trying to run a marathon with a broken leg. You must process them, embrace them, and allow them to transform into clarity. Here's the key. Vulnerability is not weakness. Allowing yourself to grieve a failure is the first step toward rising again. Every tear, every pang of regret, every moment of self-doubt is a brick in the foundation of your comeback. Let me share an anecdote. J.K. Rowling, before publishing Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers. She had no money, a child to raise, and faced overwhelming self-doubt. Yet she persevered, saying later, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." Part 3, Lessons from Failure. Once we've accepted the pain, the next step is reflection. What can failure teach us? Failure teaches resilience. When everything falls apart, resilience is the muscle that grows only through struggle. Failure teaches humility. It reminds us that we are not invincible, that perfection is an illusion, and that growth comes from admitting our mistakes. Failure teaches creativity. Often, the path we imagined is blocked. Failure forces us to find new ways, to innovate, to see opportunities we never noticed. Let me share a story. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential people of our time, was fired from her first television job. She was told she was unfit for TV. Imagine how that could crush someone. But instead of quitting, she learned, adapted, and eventually built a career that inspired millions worldwide. Another example, Michael Jordan, often called the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school varsity team. Instead of giving up, he trained harder, saying, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. I've failed over and over again, and that is why I succeed." Each failure carries a lesson. The key is to seek it, embrace it, and apply it. If you miss the lesson, you miss the chance to rise stronger. The courage to get back up. The hardest part is standing up after the fall. It requires courage. The courage to face fear, rejection, and doubt head-on. Courage doesn't mean you aren't afraid. It means you act in spite of fear. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, facing unimaginable hardship. Yet, he emerged not with bitterness, but with a vision to heal a nation. That is courage. That is the power of getting back up. You don't need a grand stage or a global audience to rise. Every small act of trying again, every attempt to fix what's broken, every choice to keep moving forward is an act of courage. Start small, take one step, fail forward. Each effort compounds, each failure teaches, and slowly, the mountain you thought insurmountable becomes climbable. A personal anecdote. When Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the very company he founded, he could have quit. Instead, he called it a blessing in disguise. He started Next and Pixar, eventually returning to Apple stronger than ever, proving that courage is also about patience and vision. Here's a Sin 20 Set Part 5, Creating Your Comeback. Rising from failure is an art. It is intentional. It requires mindset, strategy, and self-compassion. Here's a simple framework. 1. Reflect and learn. Analyze what happened without judgment. What worked, what didn't. Pause 3 sec. 2. Forgive yourself. Shame and guilt are heavy chains. Release them. They do not define you. 3. Set new goals. Failure is not the end, it's a pivot point. Set goals that excite and challenge you. 4. Surround yourself with support. Seek mentors, friends, or communities that uplift and encourage you. 5. Take action. The most powerful antidote to failure is action. Each step you take rebuilds confidence and momentum. Remember, your comeback story may inspire someone else to rise as well. Often, our greatest impact comes from how we overcome, not from what we achieve first. As Maya Angelou said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." In closing, failure is inevitable, but staying down is optional. Every great story of success is built on chapters of failure. Painful as it is, failure is not a full stop. It's a comma, a pause, a moment to gather strength before leaping again. So when life knocks you down, feel the pain, honor it, learn from it, and rise. Rise not just for yourself, but for everyone who believes in you, everyone who watches quietly, wondering if they can do the same. Rise, because your story is not over. Rise, because the world needs the unique gift only you can offer. And remember this, the strongest people are not those who never fail. They are those who fall, shatter, and rise again. They rise stronger, they rise wiser, they rise unstoppable. So, go out there, embrace your failures, learn from them, and above all, rise. Rise, again and again. Before we close today, I want to take a moment to step back and look at the bigger picture. Life is a series of ups and downs. No one walks through it untouched by failure. But the question is not whether we fail, it is how we respond. I want you to picture yourself 5 years from now. Imagine looking back at this moment, at this challenge, at this failure. What do you want to see? Do you want to see someone who stayed down, paralyzed by fear and doubt? Or do you want to see someone who, despite pain, stood up, learned, and rose stronger? Rising after failure is not just about success. It's about growth, resilience, and courage. It's about proving to yourself that no matter how hard life knocks you down, you have the strength to get back up. Think of all the great figures in history. Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times. Oprah Winfrey, who was told she was unfit for TV. Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison. J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection after rejection. They all had one thing in common. They did not let failure define them. And neither should you. Every setback you experience is an invitation to rise. Every rejection, every mistake, every disappointment is a lesson waiting to be learned. Every failure is a seed from which your comeback can grow. So, I leave you with this thought. Fall, shatter, fail if you must, but rise again. Rise stronger, rise wiser, rise unstoppable. Because the world needs the unique gift that only you can offer. Your story is not over. Your greatest chapters may still be ahead. Rise again and again. Thank you.